All right. So today, gonna go over the third section of the freeCodeCamp Responsive Web Design course, and we're gonna go through the little mini projects. I usually want to live stream the final project things, but I don't know if I'll have time to live stream them over the holidays here. So I might just make them videos and put them out as one for now, and then go back to the live streaming after the holidays. But first off, we made a balance sheet. So quite a bit that we learned on this one, actually. Most of it to do with the CSS, but one big thing is learning the tables. So we had this right here, so that made the giant table right here, as you can see. Captions, assets. Of course, this is all our header, so that's not part of it, but all of this is the table underneath the header. Of course, just put a border on it so it looks like a proper balance sheet. Now there's some stuff to do with the screen readers we will do in a minute with this. But I just want to go over this. So we have the table. The T head is a big thing. It's just pretty much like the head of the table. So same as like the header in a body. And then there is this, which is the table row. And then obviously these are all the different rows. So we'll go into the table stuff right here. So yeah, you can see all right here, same thing. THTR, that is a table row. So it will say what's in one row. This is a table header. And so the table header will be just pretty much, oh, where's the, sorry. There we go. So we got table header right here. So that'll be the person, most interest in, and age. So obviously that's the T head, because that's the main one to be the labels for each of these in the table. Then the T body, same as a body in a main or in the whole HTML itself. So this is the entire body, but you're still going to use TH, which is a table header. So this is what you would do as the table header. So it's Chris's most interest is HTML tables. His age is 22. And those are TD, which are our table data cells. So essentially any data to do with the table itself, rather than these, which isn't really data other than it's the person that they're gathering the information from. So yeah, that's the tables. Pretty easy breakdown. Again, table row, how many rows? You could have 5, 6, 7. TH, table header. TD, table data cell. So yeah, that's those. We can go into here now, into the CSS, explain some of the CSS that we had to do. And so this is a big one. The class only, or class SR only, we're targeting the spans with SR only. So in here, where are they? SR only, here we go. So the year, SR only, SR only, SR only. Those are the spans. And where's this? There's, I believe, some more. Yeah, SR only. So all the years ones. So that's for the screen readers. So for the deaf, and possibly other disabilities. But you obviously don't want them to actually show up on the actual sheet itself, because it would make it look messy. There'd be double numbers, everything's like that, right? And so yeah, you do it so that they don't show up, other than for the screen readers to read in the background. And so you want to obviously make them a certain way. Oh, clip is something I did not there we go, clip. So this one defines a visible portion of an element. The clip property applies only to absolutely positioned elements. That is an element position absolute, which we'll get to. Yeah, so this is just styling it, and the main thing is important. That is, hold on. Form right top. Yeah, so it's just making a little border for it. Sorry, and an important part here, it is for when, of course, with CSS, as you go down, it starts rendering certain things, and some things can get changed position-wise or look-wise, and so with important, what it does is nothing can override it. This is the pretty much what it'll absolutely be for that one element, and so all of those SR only spans for the screen readers to read are all right here, and they will not change throughout, so then it won't screw with the screen readers. And yeah, so important you're probably going to run into quite a bit, if not every single time you make a app or website, I'd imagine. Moving on to calc. This one, so when you don't know what what like pixels you want on padding or something like that, but you know you want it relative to the parent element or something, but you just want to offset it a little bit, you'd use calc like this. So like this one, it's 1.25 times the parent element, REM, but we want to offset it by 2 pixels on the right side. So yeah, so when you don't know what this is actually, because the parent element, you'll have to do a calculation yourself. This will just calculate it itself. Like they know the amount of this, and they can just add the 2 pixels. So yeah, you'll probably run into that quite a bit as well, just for positioning. Padding, margin, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's just a function that you can use when you don't really know the exact pixels that you'd need in a position, but you know you can get it relative to a parent element, or you know you want it X amount, but with +2, you know. So moving on to the clip stuff. We'll come back to this. Yeah, defines a visible portion of an element. The clip property applies only to absolutely positioned elements. That, yeah. So we'll come back to that once we do the position here. So with position, where is it? I know we have it just coming up here. Position, here we go. So position has five things you can do with it. What is going on here? Why is it not? I'm trying to pull something up here. There we go. It's static, which is actually the default that it'll automatically go to, but you want to put it in a position if you want to move it like much easier with just the top, right, bottom, and left keywords. You can use those, or what are they called for CSS? Not arguments. Whatever. For now, it doesn't matter. Values, not values. I can't remember off the top of my head on the moment, but either way, static, fixed, sticky, absolute, and relative. And each of them are pretty much, we'll actually look it up here, right on MDN. So position, there we go, static. Oh yeah, so here you go. They got it all right here. So static, relative, whoop, absolute, and sticky. So you see what happens with sticky there. Some cool stuff. And so they've got the explanations down here. Static, the element is positioned according to the normal flow. Like I said, it's pretty much just the exact same as always, but you can use the top, right, bottom, left, and the Z index, which we'll get to, and when we get to the absolute, I think will be the best. So relative, you change the base or the position based on its normal position, as if it was in the static position. So based on just where it is on the page. Yeah, so according to the normal flow, the document. Boom. Yeah, so it'll offset itself with the top, right, bottom, left. And obviously, if you have something, it's automatically on the top, left side. It'll automatically go to, usually. And so with top, right, bottom, and left, if you have something there, you don't want to use bottom or right because it'll push it off of the window still. Try to do top and left, push it on in, which you can use percentages. So you could do like top 50%, left 50%, boom, you're automatically centered. But it'll stay in that position, of course, on the page. Even if you'll just keep scrolling, and it'll go past, just like in the relative, the static, relative position, absolute position. Okay, and so the absolute position, the element is removed from the normal document flow and no space is created for the element in the page layout. The element is positioned relative to its closest positioned ancestor and to the initial containing block. Its final position is determined by the values of left, right, yeah, bottom, center, all that stuff. So with that one, for the absolute, the nearest ancestor would have to be positioned itself. So even if you just put in position relative, position static, usually you'd put in position relative anyways, or position static, I guess. But yeah, the relative, oh yeah, I forgot to mention the stacking context. So essentially that's just, it'll be on top of the other thing that's already there. So if you're not using static, then it's not essentially attached to that exact page. The relative, it's still attached to the position of the page where the page is, but it's on top of that in like a layer situation. So yeah, that's big for the absolute as well, the new stacking context and stuff. But yeah, so if the parent element is already positioned, it'll be positioned inside of that parent element. So let's say you have the square, and you make that relative position, and then you position an absolute for the child container inside, and so it'll be positioned wherever you want with the top left inside of that parent container. Hopefully that makes sense. And again, it's going to be put on top of that like another layer, and so that's when the Z index comes in. Z index, you can use positive, negative numbers. So if you want something to be the very back, a lot of the time you'll put -1, and that's why the next one could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. So it'll stack on top. What does this do? So Z index auto, I imagine just whatever you made is on top of whatever you made. Yeah. So auto, this Z index right here is at the very back because it was the first thing made. Putting it on the 1, you're putting it over top of these ones that are also auto, which will be in their default position. Move to 3, you lose out on the 2 there. Jump over the 4 there, and then jump over all of it there. Yeah, so Z index you'll be using quite a bit for styling and making sure that things aren't getting stacked over. Fixed position, the element is removed from the normal document flow, and no space is created for the element in the page layout. The element is positioned relative to its initial containing block, which is the viewport in the case of the visual media. Its final position is determined by values of this. Again, new stacking context. So yeah, with the fixed, it fixes its element to the window, and so it'll follow the scroll and keep on the same position in the window. So once you let's say you have like a header on a website, and like this stays in the same position right here, that's a fixed position right there. So as you're scrolling, this is not coming along with it, and it goes over top of all this, right? I'd imagine it would be. Actually, I wonder if we can look inside and see if it is. That's fun, huh? Oh, a lot. Well, Z index back, -1. What? Okay, well, I should look more into seeing how to do that for sure. But now we've gone through all of those, right? Sticky. Okay, so with sticky, let's say you have something that's in the middle of a page right here. Yeah, and you start scrolling down on it, and it sticks to the top of the page in whatever position it was on horizontally, and as you scroll, it'll stay on top of here, sticking. And same thing as if you were scrolling past it down, it would hit the bottom, and obviously where it would sit would be dependent on the top and bottom, left and right, that you put into the CSS. And then we've already done the absolute, fixed, sticky. All right, positions are done. And so Z index we've done, and there is one more I believe we have that might not be. No, I think that's it for this one. The next will be on the next next little mini project here. So just gonna take a second or two and set this all up. So all right, and so the next project here is kitty cat. Painting of a kitty cat. A lot of it was just learning more, not learning more, but using more the Z index, more of the positions, obviously, because there's so many layers. And then the main thing that we did learn was transform, so you can do things like rotate. I've got that here, so plenty. There's transform matrix, translate, scale, rotate, skew, and then scale, translate. So, let's reset it so it's in the Firefox there. Translate, scale it, rotate it, skew it, scale it. Okay, so main one we used was the where is it on here? Transform, rotate. There it is. So haven't really used too much of the other ones, but we can go through some of them, I guess, right? Go through transform values. There we go. Transform functions. So different ones. There we go. So there's matrix, matrix 3D, like the game. So matrix function is specified with 6 values. The constant values are implied and not passed as parameters. The other parameters are described in the column major order. Okay, so imagine. I don't know. We'll have to play around a little more with it. Play around with that. Looks like it's. I imagine we're going to do some more once we get into more of the web design with the. So I feel like I'm going to do the JavaScript one as well, just for the YouTube, because it'll also be just good practice to keep me going with it too, right? As I'm building my own projects. So, and then there is perspective. Okay, so I imagine it just gives it perspective. It's a transform function as part of the transform value applied. Yes, and so the perspective distance used by perspective is specified by the length value, which represents the distance between the user and the z0 plane, or by none. It's a plane where everything appears in two-dimensional view or on screen. Negative values are syntax errors. Values smaller than 1 pixel, including 0, are clamped to 1 pixel. Values other than none cause elements with positive z positions to appear larger and elements with negative z positions to appear smaller. Okay, neat. Neat. Rotate. That's just to literally rotate things on whichever way by whatever degrees all the way around. Skewing, so distortion. Scaling, so resizing, which obviously I don't know how much we would be doing that, because usually I think that would probably take place more with the JavaScript, but who knows? Who knows? I'm still pulling in the CSS stuff, so we'll see. But yeah, let's get on to the thing. So as you can see right here, cat head, different things, but big thing was the ears, the whiskers, where we had to use the transform. So negative degrees and stuff, like if I negative 60. Oops. Whoops. Oh, now the ears ripped off. Oh no. Let's just put that back, huh? There we go. Now it's back. So yeah, pretty basic. But again, it was just a lot of doing different things with the top left radius, changing all that stuff. So that's why it was intermediate, because you're doing so much of it. And you have to change everything, not just by using the basic margin, basic pattern, or padding rather. You're not just using an all-round border radius. You're doing all by the corners or the sides and everything like that. So took quite a bit. That one took quite a while. But again, it wasn't so bad because a lot of it's the same. It's just different values a little bit. By changing the side and stuff. Obviously you're going to change the left value, right value, all that kind of stuff, depending on which side the ear and stuff was on. So even the eyes too, because we, as you can see, we obscured these sides of the rectangle to make the oval eyes and stuff. But yeah, just took a little bit of time, really, but it wasn't so hard. Just thought maybe we could try and add a body to it. That would be pretty cool. maybe I'll do that, and I can just live stream adding to this. That would be neat, but not for this video. So yeah, this project, again, not much to talk about because we did a lot of it in the first one. Probably a bad idea. Probably should have done more onto this one, but it'll be the same with the last one. The last one's just explaining more of the media, which, yeah, it's still kind of complicated. So, but we went through, did this. Fun. You're making a cat. It's awesome. So, again, that's all we had on that one. Mostly the different transform functions, which we haven't even used too many of, so I can't say too much on what I've played around with. Yeah, we'll move on to the last project here, and just be back in another couple minutes. All right. So this last one here, it's we built a piano. It's not working, of course. I feel like this is gonna be one of those ones we're gonna end up adding JavaScript to in the JavaScript portion there, because that'd be fun. Pull in some sort of API for the sound or something. I don't know. But this one used a lot more of the media thing, which it did help to make it more understand more rather. So it's for when you're working with different size screens, of course. So mine, obviously, whoops. That's why what we did with, oh, there's another project coming up. Sorry, I went through and does more of this, but you can see that as it gets smaller, the minimum width, so does this. So does the keyboard. Slowly rebuilds. Can make it longer and longer if I wanted. And it would be perfectly fine, excuse me. And so, that was the main thing with this one. Really working in the media, so the piano and the keys. The width changes depending on the max width of this, and as well, so, and the max width of this. So then they change the size, and the reason that it doesn't all just keep going is because something that we did right here, overflow, hidden. Overflow is hidden, and so whatever, when it flows into another container or whatever, or over top, you don't see it, or out of the container. Did that with a lot of the keys. We've got just pretty much had to do a lot of this, the margin, float. So yeah, just a lot more of that stuff. Use more of the content. This one surprisingly was a lot easier than the other two, I found, or at least it took a lot less time. Yeah, it wasn't so bad, but it was really cool. I enjoyed it. That one, I'm really hoping that we do more on. If not, I might try to figure out how to add some JS so it can be an actual working piano. You know, do some jingles. So yeah, media. Again, this one is for working with different screens and other things like that. And you can add in certain media. So if a screen is smaller, renders in a different thing than if it's larger, scales along with it. So yeah, this one was just mostly pulling in everything that we did before with the other everything, the entire thing so far. It felt like we did something with it, right? So positions, coloring, content, using the left, the -18 and stuff. So it's off to the left. That's how we got this overlapping of those. Yeah. So it wasn't too much that we learned on this one as much as it was just practicing mostly everything that we had already done. Yeah, so you can see here, we just have the 3 sets you can add in. Actually, I want to see what happens. Just throw in another little thing there. How about that? Oh, I guess I would have to close it off with the last bit here, right? Or hold on. Oh no, this whole thing. Yeah. And then I wonder if, maybe no, probably not, because I didn't set the maximum higher, but you get the gist. You get the gist. So yeah, that's all for this one. Again, don't know if I'll be able to stream. Maybe tomorrow I might be able to, but probably not until after the holidays here. So I'll try and put out as many videos as possible. So yeah, other than that, we will talk to you guys soon, and until then, peace.